Matched betting or value betting? Which is better to do, and what can make you the most money? Most of us have done match betting at one point and it can work well, but is it the best long-term option? I'm going to run down the strengths and weaknesses of each so you can decide what is best for you. So let's start with the first point I want to make about this. And that is why matched betting feels so attractive at the start. Matched betting is appealing because it removes uncertainty. You're not really trying to predict the outcome of a match. You're simply using bookmaker offers in a structured way to lock in a profit. That's a huge shift compared to how most people begin. When I first started out, I did match betting and it was exciting, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I had cracked the code to betting, but it wasn't long before the offers ran dry and I had my accounts limited since I was a pretty obvious bonus hunter. Anyway, that's why it works so well for beginners. It's simple to follow, it feels safe, and you can build up a small bankroll without needing deep knowledge of football or odds. For example, you might get a free bet offer. Place your qualifying bet on one side, cover the other outcome, and regardless of what happens in the match, you come away with a small profit. So from a starting point, it's incredibly effective. It removes emotion, removes guesswork, and gives you a controlled way to make money from bookmakers. But that leads into the next point, and this is where things start to change. Now, the next point I want to make is really important, the hidden downsides of matched betting, because while it works well at the beginning, it comes with a built-in ceiling. You're completely reliant on bookmaker offers, and those offers don't last forever. You can only do each one once, and over time, they become harder to find. On top of that, accounts often get restricted. Bookmakers are very quick to spot patterns, and once they realize what you're doing, they start limiting how much you can stake or remove offers altogether. So what happens is this. At the start, everything looks great. You're making consistent profits, it feels easy, and it feels repeatable. But then a few months down the line, things slow right down. The offers dry up, the profits shrink, and suddenly you're left wondering what to do next. A common situation might be someone making a few £100s in their first couple of months, then struggling to maintain that because the opportunities just aren't there anymore. So match betting is excellent for what it is, but it's not designed to be a long-term strategy. Not sure about you, but I know that for me, if I want to make money today, I want to go out and make that money rather than sit around for an email from a bookmaker that may or may not arrive. By the way guys, just quickly, if you like videos like this and want to see more on this subject, remember to click the like button. You never know, it might bring you luck in your value betting journey. And while you are there, you should hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss a system or strategy video. Now the third point I want to make is where things really start to shift, and why value betting is where the real edges come from. Value betting is completely different to match betting. Instead of relying on offers, you're relying on probability. You're looking for situations where the odds available are higher than they should be based on the actual likelihood of the outcome. So for example, let's say a team is priced at 2.50, but based on the data, their true chances suggest they should be closer to 2.0. That difference is where your edge comes from. Now here's the important part. This doesn't mean you win every bet. In fact, you will lose plenty of them, and that's exactly why most people struggle with it, because you can make the right decision, place the correct bet, and still lose on the day. That's uncomfortable if you're used to thinking in terms of outcomes rather than probability. Out of curiosity actually, so do you find it harder to trust value bets when they lose even if the logic is sound? Because this is where the mindset shift happens. You're no longer trying to be right on individual matches. You're trying to be right over a large number of bets. And if you were wondering how to find value bets, well, that is what Statto was invented for. You don't have to build your own model or do complicated calculations. Just let the artificial intelligence do it for you. Instead of manually going through leagues, analyzing stats, and trying to work everything out yourself, you can simply use the relevant prompts, and Statto will generate structured insights instantly. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. Now the next point I want to make is something that catches a lot of bettors out. Why most people fail with value betting, because even though it has long-term potential, it's not easy to execute. The biggest issue is variance. You can go on losing runs even when you're making good decisions. That's where discipline comes in, and this is where most people slip up. I learned this the hard way. Every time I've ignored this rule, I've paid for it. There were periods where I'd start second guessing the process, changing my approach after a few losses, or trying to force results, and it always made things worse. Some losing bets can be hard to take, so it can definitely be a challenging thing to do mentally. Another problem is patience. Value betting isn't about betting on every match, it's about waiting for the right opportunities. For example, you might see a match where the favorite is 1.80, but based on the data, that price is fair, not value. most bettors will still back it because it looks good. But the disciplined approach is to leave it alone and wait. So the challenge with value betting isn't understanding it, it's sticking to it. Another point I want to add here, and this is where things start to separate casual bettors from serious ones, is treating value betting like a business. Because once you understand that value betting is based on probability, the way you approach it has to change completely. You're no longer just placing random bets and hoping for a result. You're making calculated decisions over and over again, knowing that the outcome of any single bet doesn't really matter. What matters is the process. A common mistake is thinking in terms of one match at a time. You win, you feel good, you lose, you question everything. But the professional mindset is different. You're thinking in terms of 50 bets, 100 bets, even hundreds over time. For example, if you consistently take odds that are bigger than they should be, even by a small margin, that edge compounds over time, but only if you stay consistent. This is where discipline, staking, and record keeping come in. You need to know exactly what you're betting, why you're betting it, and how your results look over a large sample size, because without that structure, value betting just turns back into guessing, and that's where most people go wrong. By the way, I am curious to know if you have done match betting before and how it went for you. I always feel it is something we all have to do in the start before we find our way in the betting world. Anyway, please leave a comment below to share your experiences with matched betting. Now, another thing worth understanding, and this is where value betting becomes very powerful, is the income potential when you scale it properly. Because unlike match betting, which is limited by offers, value betting isn't capped in the same way. Your edge doesn't disappear. It actually becomes more valuable the more you apply it. Let's say, for example, you're working with a 5% edge over time. At smaller stakes, that might not feel like much. You might be making small, steady profits, nothing dramatic. But as your bankroll grows and your confidence in the process improves, you can increase your stakes proportionally. And that's where things start to compound. A bettor working with a solid edge and proper staking could realistically aim for consistent monthly returns, not based on luck, but based on maths and volume. And the key difference here is scalability. With matched betting, you hit a ceiling and that's it. With value betting, the more disciplined you are, the more data you gather, and the more consistent your execution, the more you can grow it over time. It's not about overnight results, it's about building something that becomes more effective the longer you do it. And finally, the last point I want to make, and this is the one that really brings it all together. One builds income and the other builds a skill. And like I said earlier, guys, hours of manual research are no longer necessary if you want to approach value betting properly. Statto dramatically speeds up the process by analyzing matches and highlighting potential opportunities in seconds, rather than you having to piece it all together yourself. It gives you structured insights, clear reasoning, and a much more efficient way to approach your betting. If you want to take this seriously, it's a genuine upgrade. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen. If you found this useful, make sure you hit the like button. It tells YouTube to show you more of this kind of content. There's another video on the screen right now that goes deeper into this, so click that and continue learning. I'll see you over there.